My name is Landon Keyston, and 4 months ago my marriage turned colder than a meat locker in January. I'm a safety engineer at Meridian Industrial, the guy who makes sure buildings don't collapse and workers don't get crushed by falling beams. 38 years old, decent looking when I clean up, and apparently invisible to my own wife. Mira used to greet me at the door with a smile. Now she barely glances up from her phone when I walk into our Charlotte townhouse. 4 months of excuses, 4 months of I'm tired and maybe tomorrow, 4 months of watching her text someone at midnight while pretending to sleep. Working late again? I asked last Tuesday, watching her apply lipstick at 8 p.m. Client dinner, she said, not meeting my eyes. Adrian's orders. Adrian Valehurst, her boss at Sterling Communications, the PR firm where she's clawed her way up to senior account manager. 43, silver-haired, drives a Tesla, and rumored to be untouchable in Charlotte's corporate circles. The company's annual gala was tonight. Black tie, champagne, the works. I stood in our bedroom, adjusting my cufflinks while Mira primped in her emerald dress, the one she used to wear for me. You look stunning, I said. She shrugged. Thanks. At the Marriott ballroom, I watched her immediately gravitate toward her work crowd. Cleo Martinez, her gossipy sidekick, whispered something that made Mira laugh, the first real laugh I'd heard from her in months. Landon! Adrian Valehurst appeared beside me, champagne flute in hand. Great turnout tonight. Absolutely. I shook his hand, noting the firm grip. Mind if I join your table? Seems my wife forgot to save me a seat. Adrian's eyebrows rose slightly. At his table sat his wife, Selene, striking, 40-ish, with the kind of confidence that commanded rooms. She wore a black dress that probably cost more than my monthly salary. Please, Selene gestured to the empty chair beside her. I insist. As I sat down, I caught Mira's shocked expression from across the room. Selene leaned closer, her perfume subtle but intoxicating. Your wife seems busy tonight, she observed. Story of my life lately. Selene's hand found my knee under the table. Not inappropriate, just present. How unfortunate for her. I glanced toward Mira's table and saw her staring, jaw tight. Eddie Fox, the company's IT guy, had appeared beside her, all gym muscles and greasy charm. His hand rested possessively on her shoulder. Shall we get some air? Selene suggested, standing gracefully. The hotel's terrace overlooked the city lights. Selene handed me a fresh drink and positioned herself just close enough that anyone watching would notice. You're playing a dangerous game, I said. Am I? Her smile was enigmatic. Or am I simply being kind to a neglected husband? When we returned to the ballroom 15 minutes later, the whispers had already started. I caught fragments. Did you see? Selene Valehurst and… Poor Mira. Adrian looked tense, his jaw working as Cleo approached his table. She whispered something urgent in his ear. His face darkened. I grinned to myself. Step 1, complete. Before we dive deeper into this story, I have one small request. Please subscribe, drop a like, comment, and hit that hype button to boost this channel so more people can discover these incredible Reddit stories. The next morning, Mira slammed coffee mugs around the kitchen like she was trying to break them. What was that performance last night? She demanded. Performance? I buttered my toast calmly. I was being social. You should try it sometime. With Selene Valehurst? Are you insane? She's charming, unlike some people I know. Mira's face flushed. You're being ridiculous. Am I? When's the last time you touched me without flinching? She had no answer for that. At work, I couldn't concentrate on stress calculations and load-bearing analyses. My mind kept circling back to those midnight texts, the way she'd started showering immediately after coming home, the new lingerie I'd glimpsed in her drawer, tags still on. After lunch, I drove to Murphy's Bar downtown. Cleo was there, as I'd hoped, nursing a martini and looking troubled. Landon! She seemed genuinely surprised. What brings you here? Needed a drink after last night. I ordered whiskey neat. Mira's been distant lately. Cleo's expression shifted to something like pity. Oh, honey. That obvious? She glanced around nervously. Look, I probably shouldn't say anything. But? Eddie Fox. He's been sniffing around her for months, always finding excuses to work late with her, bringing her coffee, that sort of thing. My grip tightened on my glass. I see. He's such a show-off, too. Always bragging about his passwords, uses his gym membership number for everything because he thinks he's so clever. 20 minutes later, I had Eddie's login credentials and access to the company's internal messaging system. Being a safety engineer meant understanding systems, and Sterling Communications Network was just another system to navigate. The messages made my stomach churn. Not just the obvious flirtation, but the casual cruelty. He's so boring, Ed. You make me feel alive again. He doesn't suspect a thing. Eddie had saved photos, videos, nothing explicit but intimate enough to destroy reputations. I compiled the best evidence into a neat digital package and sent it anonymously to Adrian's executive board. Then I called Selene. This is unexpected, she said when she answered. I have information about your husband's employee, information he needs to see. How intriguing. Send it to my personal email. The next morning, I arrived at Sterling Communications early. Eddie's BMW sat in its usual spot. I'd prepared a special surprise, industrial-grade itching powder in his gym bag, laxative powder swapped for his protein supplement, and a small device connected to his car's electrical system. At noon, I watched from the parking garage as Eddie approached his car with Mira beside him. He was showing off, as usual, talking about his sweet ride when he turned the ignition. The airbag inflator I'd rigged discharged a cloud of rainbow glitter through his air vents. Eddie's precious BMW looked like a unicorn had exploded inside it. Mira jumped back, her professional outfit now sparkled with craft store debris. What the? Eddie started, then doubled over as the laxative hit his system. I ducked behind a concrete pillar, trying not to laugh as Eddie stumbled toward the building, leaving glittery footprints and clutching his stomach. My phone buzzed. Text from Mira. Emergency board meeting. Now. Perfect timing. The Sterling Communications boardroom hummed with tension. Adrian sat at the head of the mahogany table, his face granite hard. Board members whispered among themselves, while Mira stood near the door, pale and shaking. Landon? She looked confused. What are you doing here? I invited him, Selene said smoothly, entering behind me. Family support seemed appropriate. Adrian cleared his throat. Mira, please sit down. She remained standing, defiant. I don't understand what this is about. Don't you? Adrian opened his laptop and turned the screen toward her. Perhaps this will refresh your memory. The messages filled the display. Her messages, her words, her betrayal laid bare for the entire executive board to witness. I can explain, Mira started. Can you explain this? Adrian clicked to another screen. Your detailed plans to manipulate me for a promotion? Your assessment of my weaknesses shared with your lover? Mira's knees buckled. She grabbed the back of a chair for support. Or this. Another click. Your strategy to undermine Selene's charity work to make yourself look better? I watched my wife crumble, feeling nothing but cold satisfaction. The woman who'd made me feel worthless for months now stood exposed, humiliated, finished. You're fired, Adrian said simply. Security will escort you out. Your access is already terminated. Adrian, please. Ms. Keyston, he corrected coldly. We're done here. In the parking garage, Eddie waited by his ruined car, still covered in glitter and looking green around the gills. When he saw me, his face twisted with rage. You! He lunged forward. You did this! I sidestepped easily. Safety engineering keeps you aware of your surroundings. Eddie stumbled, catching himself against his BMW. "Did what?" I asked innocently. "Don't play dumb. The car, the powder." "Prove it." I stepped closer, close enough that he could smell my aftershave. "But even if I did, what are you going to do about it? Tell your wife? Tell your gym buddies? Oh, wait. They already know, don't they?" Eddie's face went white. "You wouldn't." "Try me." I leaned in, my voice dropping to a whisper. "You messed with my marriage, Eddie. Now I'm messing with your life, and I'm just getting started." He swung at me, clumsy, predictable. I caught his wrist and twisted, just enough pressure to make him wince. "Don't," I said calmly. "You're already in enough trouble." I released him and walked away, leaving him standing beside his glitter-bombed car, defeated and humiliated. Behind me, I heard Celine's heels clicking across the concrete. "Well played," she said, falling into step beside me. "But we're not finished yet. I want her to understand what it means to be hunted." By the time Mira returned home, I'd already made my moves. Bank accounts locked, credit cards canceled, passwords changed on everything from Netflix to her gym membership. "Landon," her voice echoed through the townhouse. "What have you done?" I looked up from my laptop, where I was reviewing our financial statements with the satisfaction of an accountant finding a perfect balance. "Protecting our assets," I said. "Can't be too careful these days." "You can't do this." "Actually, I can. Joint accounts require only one signature for security changes. I checked with our lawyer." She grabbed for my phone, but I pulled it away smoothly. "Looking for something?" "Give me access to our accounts." "Our accounts?" Funny thing about that. Turns out most of the money came from my salary. Your contribution was minimal. The truth hit her like a physical blow. For 4 years, she'd lived off my income while spending her paychecks on clothes, spa treatments, and apparently gifts for Eddie. My phone rang. Cleo. "Landon, I have news about Mira." I put it on speaker. "Go ahead." "She's been telling everyone you're having a breakdown, that you're stalking her. She's trying to make herself the victim." Mira's face went white. "Interesting," I said. "What else?" "She asked me to lie to Adrian, to say the messages were fake. When I refused, she called me some very creative names." "Did she now?" "I recorded it. Want to hear?" The next day, I followed Mira through downtown Charlotte's busy market district. She was meeting potential employers, trying to salvage her career. I stayed back, patient, waiting for the right moment. It came when she spotted me near the flower stalls. "Stop following me!" she screamed, loud enough to turn heads. I kept my phone recording as she charged toward me, her professional mask finally slipping completely. "You ruined everything!" She grabbed for my phone. "Give me that!" I dodged between market stalls, letting her chase me through the crowd. She stumbled in her heels, knocking over a display of apples, cursing loudly enough to make children stare. "You're pathetic!" she shrieked. "Adrian was right about you. You're nothing. A boring, worthless—" "Keep going," I said calmly, still recording. "This is great material." She lunged again, this time managing to grab my shirt. I spun away, and she went sprawling into a puddle of muddy water, her interview outfit ruined. The crowd had formed a circle now, phones out, capturing every moment of her meltdown. "You want to know the truth?" she screamed from the ground. "Adrian Valehurst is a fraud. His company is built on lies, and his wife, she's been sleeping with half the city." I stopped recording and smiled. Perfect. Within an hour, the video was online. Tagged locations, tagged people, tagged companies. Mira's professional suicide, broadcast in high definition. My phone buzzed. Text from Adrian. "We need to talk." Adrian's penthouse party was Charlotte's social event of the month. Media, board members, city officials, everyone who mattered in our little corner of the corporate world. I arrived with Selene, who'd insisted on being my date for the evening. She wore white, angelic and devastating. "Are you ready for this?" she asked as we stepped onto the rooftop terrace. I've been ready for months. The view was spectacular. City lights stretching to the horizon, cool breeze carrying the scent of jasmine from the rooftop garden. Adrian worked the crowd with practiced ease, but I caught the tension in his shoulders. Landon, he approached with 2 glasses of champagne. Glad you could make it. Wouldn't miss it. About today's incident, the video. Terrible thing, I said solemnly. Mental health is so important. Adrian studied my face, looking for cracks in my composure. He found none. Indeed. Well, enjoy the party. At 9 o'clock, Mira appeared. She'd somehow talked her way past security, her hair wild, her dress wrinkled. She looked like she hadn't slept in days. Adrian! She pushed through the crowd. I need to talk to you. Conversation stopped. Cameras turned. This was better than I'd hoped. Security, Adrian said quietly. Wait! Mira dropped to her knees in front of him. I can explain everything. The messages, the video. Landon set me up. He's been stalking me, harassing me. Is that so? Selene stepped forward, her voice carrying across the silent terrace. How interesting. She nodded to someone behind me. A drone rose from the building's edge, carrying a banner that unfurled in the night breeze. Cheater, in 6-foot letters, with Mira's photo underneath. The crowd gasped. Cameras flashed. Social media exploded in real time. You see, Selene continued, I've been investigating Ms. Keyston for months. Her attempts to manipulate my husband, her affair with our employee, her plans to destroy my reputation. That's not, Mira started. Oh, but it is. I pulled out my phone and connected it to the party's sound system. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like you to hear something. Mira's voice filled the air, crystal clear. He's so stupid, Eddie. He actually thinks I love him. But his paycheck loves me, and that's enough, the crowd murmured. Mira looked around desperately. And this gem, I continued, playing another clip. Adrian's easy to manipulate. Men like him need to feel important. A few compliments, a short skirt, and he'll promote anyone. Adrian's face hardened to stone. But wait, there's more. Another clip. Selene Valehurst thinks she's so perfect. I'll destroy her little charity project and take over. These rich wives are all the same, useless. Selene smiled coldly. How illuminating. Eddie Fox burst onto the terrace, security close behind. He was still covered in faint traces of glitter, his shirt stained, his usual swagger replaced by desperate panic. This is harassment, he shouted. Landon Keyston is stalking us. Actually, I said, I'm just standing here. You two seem to be doing all the dramatic entrances. Eddie charged toward me, fists raised. I stepped aside smoothly. 4 months of planning had made me patient, precise. He stumbled past me toward the pool. Careful, I called out. Wet surfaces can be slippery. He spun around, off balance, and toppled backward into the water with a tremendous splash. More glitter floated to the surface. Apparently, he hadn't changed his gym bag yet. The crowd erupted in laughter and applause. Eddie surfaced, coughing and sputtering, looking like a defeated disco ball. Security hauled him out while Mira knelt on the terrace, mascara streaming down her face, her reputation in ruins around her. I walked to the edge of the rooftop and raised my champagne glass to the stunned crowd. Ladies and gentlemen, I said, to finding out who's really on your side. The toast echoed across the terrace as cameras captured every moment. Below us, the city sparkled like scattered diamonds, and I finally felt like I could breathe again. Selene appeared beside me, her smile triumphant. Perfectly executed, she murmured. Though I should mention, I orchestrated quite a bit of this myself. Mira threatened my position one too many times. I looked at her with new respect. Partners in crime? Hand in glove, she agreed, raising her glass to mine. The night air carried the sound of sirens, security escorting the last of the troublemakers away. My marriage was over, but my life was just beginning, and I'd never felt more alive.